for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
The last great Coliseum, Thunder Valley, the world's fastest half mile, and oh yeah, it's an elimination race. Live from the Bristol Motor Speedway, it's the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series presented by Racing Revolution. I'm your host and producer, Morgan Cook. Alongside me, as always, Alex Gagnon up here in the booth. Here on these
notably, I am commentator to Twitter. That is me.
Let's get that fixed up for you.
Excited for elimination race here tonight at Bristol. 250 laps should be an absolute dogfight out there, and I think it's going to be a real blast.
I think it will be as well. Commentator to Twitter. All right, there's a new nickname. Talking about that before the broadcast. We're here for the All About Bugs 250 live from the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. We said it in the intro, this track is tiny, it's so fast, and you cannot get away from anyone. We'll talk about the racetrack in just a minute, but first, it's an elimination race. Gotta talk about points. There they are on your screen. Burns, effectively locked in, looking for the sweep of the round. He won at Atlanta. He won last week at Watkins Glen. Is he able to go 3 for 3 in the round of 16?
It's certainly a possibility, but honestly, I'm not too worried about Jeremy Burns tonight. Where my eyes are drawn to is the entirety of the middle of this group here, from Grant Turner in 6th all the way down to Michael Call in 14th. Less than 10 points separate those drivers. And there's 2 of those drivers there that are not going to advance to the next round. All of those folks, I believe, are here tonight. So you've got to go out there and perform, because even if you have a decent day, if all of these guys have a good day, it's going to be you going home. It doesn't matter if you're seated 5th, 6th, or 7th there. The gap not nearly big enough to feel comfortable.
Yeah, stage points are going to be imperative for all the drivers tonight. You're going to have to get them, because if you don't, you're probably not going to make it out of tonight in the playoffs going into the round of 12 next week at Kansas. That's a look at your points. Now let's talk about the racetrack. Bristol Motor Speedway, been running here since 1960, little over half a mile. The corners are not the same, even though most people think that they are. Turns 3 and 4, a little bit wider than 1 and 2, a little bit wider radius, but you're going to run the top here pretty much all night. I think you can save tires on the bottom, but it is not the fast way around.
No, it's really not. And you might see some people going down there to try and find a way to make a pass when everyone's running that high lane, but if you're just out there trying to log laps tonight, everyone's going to gravitate to that outside wall. Gives you so much more time on the throttle, which is such a necessity at a track like this where there's so much time on the brakes, back on the throttle. The more time you can spend accelerating, going to be the better.
Yeah, momentum is the name of the game at this facility, and the High Line gets it for you aplenty. Let's have a look at the race analysis tonight. 250 laps, half of the full NASCAR distance here. 35 miles an hour on pit road, 5 tire sets available, 3 green-white checkers. Stage will be at lap 62 or 57 if there's a caution in that range. iRacing fixed setup as always, and like we said, stage points going to be very important for most of these drivers. We'll see what happens around lap 62. With all that being said, let's have a look at your Coastal Financial Pole Award winner. Travis Gilbert is that driver today. Our mission at Coastal Financial is to provide comprehensive financial planning solutions tailored to each individual's unique needs and goals, with the aim of empowering our clients to make informed financial decisions and achieve their financial potential. You can find us at coastalfinancial.com or on Facebook at Coastal Financial. Congratulations, Travis Gilbert, on the Coastal Financial Pole Award here at Bristol. Definitely not his first of the season. And thank you, Coastal Financial, again, for sponsoring this award. We move into the grid now. This is going to go pretty quick as we do not have a lot of time for the pace laps. Travis Gilbert, Tyler Harrison going to start on row number 1. Third spot, Grant Thorpe. Rob Rader making his return, starting in 4th. 5th position is going to be Jeremy Burns in the 9. Caleb Gilbert, his teammate, will start in 6th. 7th position, Justice Murphy in the 12. Carter Linz in the 66. Last night's winner in QSR will start in 8th. 9th position, Daniel Holloway in the 21. Michael Call will start in 10th.
Back in row 6 is Trevor Erhardt and Trevor Keith. 13th and 14th there will be Devin Hudgens in the 84. Grant Turner in the 39. 15th tonight, Alex Forget in the 19. Chris Nail lines up to his outside. Row 9, Christian Bresnock in the 00 and Dylan Bickelsheimer in the 43. With rounding out the top 20 being Jackson McGeorge and Christopher Schaefer.
21st, Michael Bennett in the 14. Nick Alves will start 22nd in his 24. Matt Robinson running a special scheme tonight. We'll touch on that later in the broadcast. He will start 23rd. Parker Johnston with a T going to start 24th. 25th, Kevin Orlando Jr. in the 27. 26th is Al Likens. 27th is Jacob Sirkovich. 28th, Joe Joya. 29th is Brandon Richardson. And 30th is Kyle Diaz. As we are pacing here, I thought I had that pit of the stomach feeling. We were 1 to green and we're going to get it this time, but pace car going to stay out another lap. Thank goodness for us up here in the broadcast booth. Short tracks, a unique challenge when you're calling a race.
Especially when you get a nice healthy grid like we've had so far this season for Racing Grab, the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series. 30 cars tonight. Had to fly through them as the pace laps were pretty short, but we got it in just in time and now ready to rock and roll for 250 laps here at Bristol. Feels like it'll be a lot, but to the point you were making before we went live, I think it's going to go by really fast with how quick the lap times here are.
Absolutely. The pole time, if you were paying attention, I believe was a 14.1 or a 14.2. That is getting after it. And the green flag is out at Bristol. Already wrapped up with lap number 1. Travis Gilbert well out in front. Half a second the gap is. Battle is back here for the 4th position. Bunch of Element X drivers right there. Got Rader, Gilbert, and Burns.
Yeah, and despite how good the regular season was for the 53 of Rob Rader, missing last week at the Glen, has now put himself outside of the playoff cut line looking in. Good qualifying position is going to give him the track position he needs to go out there and get it done tonight, but he knows what he needs to do, and what he needs to do is just do what he's done all season long and execute. To jump back a little deeper into the field here, we see a lot of these playoff drivers all fighting for track position early. Trevor Erhardt up there with Grant Turner. Trevor Keith up into the mix there as well. A lot of guys all trying to fight their way inside the top 10.
And this is what it's going to look like all night. You're going to get stuck back in the pack. It's going to be hard to pass. There's cars everywhere. Where do you go? Right on board here with the 41. You can't go to the top because there's a Grant Turner in your way. You can't go to the bottom because Trevor Keith's in your way. Well, he's gone now. There, he's back. What do you do? Where are you supposed to go? It's such a difficult place to pass. You got to be patient. And it's hard to be patient here for 250 laps, especially when things like that happen. Got Justice Murphy backing up a little bit to this group.
Yeah, and then it just makes nowhere to go, and it really tests your patience as a driver when you get stuck behind a double wide here at Bristol. Oh, and the yellow flag is out.
I heard that
Caution
one.
on the racetrack.
Who was that? Chris Nail, I believe, was involved in that. Yes, he was. Daniel Holloway, yes. 21 is also in it. Let's see what caused this one. Shouldn't have to go back very far. Oh, they're already around. Let's see. I think it happened in front of them. Oh, this was the group we were riding on with. Riding on board with Holloway. Check up.
Turner big time loose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Check up with Turner. Put Erhardt in the wall, and then he came down and collected the 21. Let's have another quick look at that one. There, you see it right there. Caught the 19 as well. That's heavy damage on the 19, actually. That car's kind of destroyed right now. That second race in a row that's happened here. Remember back in the spring, Rob Rader and the 19 had a bit of an issue in turn number 4 while leading that wrecked the race, put him out of the race, the 19.
Yeah, and both of those drivers that you mentioned there, the 19 and the 53, cars desperate for points tonight. The 19, the last car in. The 53, the first car out.
Look at the left front.
Boy, heavy damage. Yeah.
The left front's that's not supposed to point that way. That's supposed to go straight, even potentially to the left, but that is not pointed where it needs to be at all. Al Lyken's already 2 laps down in the Rush Truck Center's 40. Chris Nail's off the racing surface. But yeah, that's a big blow to a lot of playoff drivers. See 2 of them right there. And that's just how fast it happens here. I mean, nobody did anything wrong, per se. Just a racing deal. You get out of the groove, you're so close to the wall anyway, you're going to catch the wall, and all of a sudden, you're in someone else's lap, and around you go.
Yeah, and that's just the thing here with Bristol as well. With such high banking, even on the straightaways, and no real room on this racing surface, it does not take much for things to get really piled up here with how quickly things can collapse on top of itself with no real room to escape. So that incident at a larger track may have only collected 2 or 3 cars, but at a place like Bristol where there's just nowhere to go, it ended up tagging about 5 or 6.
Yeah, it definitely becomes a parking lot very quickly at this racetrack, and there's nothing you can do about it. You get caught up in an incident, and it's too bad. Gotta try and find a way to battle through it, because you're going to be in trouble for quite a while. But still a lot of undamaged race cars so far, 12 laps in, 250 lap race here at Bristol, the All About Bugs 250. believe are coming to the choose this time. On the apron, you're taking the bottom. On the white stuff, the concrete, you're taking the top. Nothing too surprising here. A lot of drivers, see the top of the screen there doing the choose. A lot of drivers taking that top line, but track position is possible on the bottom. Remember the leader on that last restart, Travis Gilbert, took the bottom and launched out to half a second by the time we exited turn number 2. So very well could be the place to be on these restarts. See Likens just now taking the choose, and the field is already in the middle of 3 and 4. That's how short this track is. It's so easy to go a lap down, so hard to repair damage. Tough place.
And one thing that's worth noting is I think we'll see this quite a few times tonight, where you end up having the league admins extending this caution by 1 lap, giving the field time to group up, because to your point, Morgan, there were still cars taking the choose as the field is making their way into 3 and 4. So that extra lap will be needed to get the field stacked up, but it also is going to make you just sit there and think about these pacing laps a little bit more as a driver, and maybe get you a little bit more antsy trying to get back to the green flag, knowing you have to pace around one more time.
You can already see a little further back in the field the massive accordion effect. We're only pacing at about 40 miles an hour, and we're still closing up on each other. Drivers in the back, they know that they got to get going, or else they're going to be in trouble of losing this pack, not the draft, but losing the pack and getting caught by the leader. Look at the launch by the 22, easily out in front.
Yeah, he's been really good tonight, both on the opening drop of the green flag and then the restart here. The 22, great acceleration off the line, giving him a healthy advantage, and then it gets double file all the way back through the field. No one able to find a way on by, except maybe Tyler Harrison, who's going to clear Grant Thorpe here.
But you can see just how fast that top line is. 45 able to catch up to the 22 here in only a few laps. 22 continues to be glued to that bottom line. 45 running the middle now, was on the high side. Got Raider right behind him. 53 dominated this race in the spring. Went on to win it. See if he can back up that effort. He might just need it, considering the way the points were when we looked at them earlier. Other drivers who need points, there's a few of them in the frame. Trevor Keith, Parker Johnston, a couple drivers who could use a good run tonight. Grant Turner as well. Cars in the wall there. This is for the 14th-ish position. They change hands so fast here.
Tell you what, one driver that I've been really impressed with these playoffs so far has been the 48 of Parker Johnston. Kind of a sleeper entry into the playoffs with his win at Daytona just before the start of the postseason. And has really, I think, maybe surprised a lot of folks. He's put together 2 really decent races at both Atlanta and Watkins Glen. He put himself up above the cut line and running 13th right now. He's probably going to need a little bit more to ensure that he's going to be good to move on to the next round, but he's doing everything he needs to right now to give himself a shot.
They're doing a great job. Got a little contact there. That started with Picklesheimer, went all the way through Schaefer and to Trevor Keith, but Jeremy Burns moved his way up to second here. And our leader is under fire. Travis Gilbert still glued to that bottom side. Gonna let Burns get to the outside here. Oh, that was close. Oh,
that
boy.
That was really close.
Oh, he's going to block him in the center of the corner. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that almost ended up with both of those cars getting up into the outside wall. A tough move there from the 22. Now Burns going to look to the inside. Boy, it is only lap 24, and they're already racing like it's 5 to go.
I'll tell you what, if I was the 9, I probably don't lift as much as he did. That was an aggressive block in the center of the corner in a situation where it didn't have to happen. But kudos to Jeremy Burns for not driving through the 22, and that could have been a disaster.
Yeah, it was a gutsy move from the 22 to try and hold up the 9, but now they're going to be door-to-door down the back straightaway. Burns to the inside. This is the line that's a little bit slower here at Bristol, but it's the place you need to find a way to make work if you're going to make any sort of successful passes here.
Burns falls back a little bit. Cool the tires. Closest battle to the lead is the one for 4th. Call and Raider. Harrison as well. Looks like the bottom is good for about 3 laps, and then the tires give up. You got to go back into the high side, get the momentum back. It seems to be what we're seeing right now. A little further back here, back to the 13th spot. These two drivers, Schaefer and Turner, still side by side. Got Bennett in the outside wall. Racing all over the place. Bresnock having a good run up to 10th. Got Murphy on his outside. He should be able to clear. Leaves the door open for Murphy.
Been a good drive for the driver of the 89 right there, Michael Call. Started 10th. He's now battling for the 3rd position with Rob Rader. He's been on the move in a hurry here, and for a guy coming into the situation in the points tonight below the playoff cut line, this is exactly what the doctor ordered for the 89 to try and move on tonight. He's only 3 points shy. So right now, running in that 3rd, 4th, 5th spot has been exactly where he needs to be as we make our way about halfway through this opening stage.
New battle for the lead here. I think Burns actually led that lap. Door to door. So frustrating to pass at Bristol, especially if you're the guy on the bottom. You just can't get the momentum. You're hoping for the guy on the top side to make a little bit of a wiggle, a little mistake. Get out of the groove, but I don't think the 22 is going to do that. Seasoned driver. And very fast the last 10 or 12 weeks. As Travis Gilbert and Burns on the inside again. Look at Rader on the move. Catching very quickly this duo.
He got right up to the back bumper of the 9 there down the front straightaway. Reeled him in a hurry. And now we've got a little bit of a 3-car battle for the lead. They've separated themselves a little bit from the rest of the field. Now Tyler Harrison has also kind of caught this group as well. He's kind of tethering the gap right now between the front 3 and the rest of this field. The 45 started on the front row and still holding on the 4th right now. The leader's very much within sight.
How about the first non-playoff driver? 10th spot, Dylan Picklesheimer having a great run. In the 43 and behind him, Bresnock in 11th. Other than that, surrounded by playoff drivers. Really good effort for these guys. Just about 40 laps into this race, able to hang tough and might be able to get some stage points here. And the stage closes here in about 25 laps. A little further back. Go ahead.
I was going to say there has been an interesting battle developing here deeper in the field. That's Daniel Holloway, Joe Goya, and the 8 of Brandon Richardson. This is back outside the top 20, but you know, the 21, one of those cars caught up in that lap 8 incident, trying to get himself back up toward the front of the field, but it has been a slow burn so far for the Candyman, trying to get himself back inside the top 20.
Slow burn is right. We've got a battle for the 8th position. Carter Linz, Grant Thorpe of playoff drivers, looking to cement their round of 12 advance, and they're both doing what they have to do, get some stage points. They're both in position at the moment. You better look out behind them because that 12 car is hungry. Justice Murphy's been pretty quiet. I'd say about the same amount of time the 22 has been on his hot streak. The 12 has been in a bit of a slump. Not a lot of results for Justice Murphy, but a top 10 run here at Bristol, that's just what the doctor ordered. That's some good news.
Yeah, he has run pretty well so far through the opening 40-some laps. Another playoff driver who's run pretty well in the opening going is the 27 of Kevin Orlando Jr. Started way deep in the field in 25th. Has already worked his way up the 14th here, battling with Matt Robinson on track, but it has been a good drive to the front right now for Kevin Orlando Jr., a driver who came in above the cut line, looking to try and maintain that coming out of Bristol.
Absolutely he is. Driver who struggled in practice, Nick Alves, worked his way up pretty far through this field. Finds himself currently in the 16th position. Started all the way back in 22nd. This is a race of survival. Raw pace helps, don't get me wrong, but when you're back in traffic, it's really just about staying off the guy in front of you and keeping the momentum rolling, and Nick Alves doing just that in the 16th position. I believe we have A pass for second. Rob Rader has cleared his teammate, Jeremy Burns, and sets his sights on that 22 machine. So he got away a little bit on this run. That's the blue car entering turn 1 right now. As Rader's about to go past Joe Joya. Caught him in a bad spot, but doesn't hurt the lap time too bad. Something about this concrete racetrack that Rader just has figured out.
Yeah, he's been pretty solid on it so far. Was great at it here in the spring and has worked his way up now to try and chase down the leader. That gap about a second. Looks like the 17 really having a tough time getting that car to rotate right now. We've seen him clip the wall a couple of times. It's also just a matter of trying to stay out of the way of cars trying to go by on the inside. This is the worst feeling to have as a driver when you go a lap down early at Bristol and you just have to try and keep yourself in contention, keep yourself to potentially be in a spot to get the free pass, but hammering the wall like that certainly not going to help.
And at this racetrack, there is no place to hide. Normally, lap car would go high, get all the way out of the way. That's the fast line here. You can't run the bottom because that's the passing line. You can't really run the middle because there is no middle groove. So you're in trouble at Bristol. You pretty much have to get off the racetrack if you really feel like you're off the pace, but not the case here for the 17, as he has every right to the racetrack as anyone else. And as long as he's not impacting anyone else's race, why not? He's doing what he's got to do out here, getting some laps logged and doing a great job. I believe he also designs the points graphics, so thank you for everything you do. Driver 17.
Cool. There's some pretty slick-looking points graphics.
They are. Speaking of slick, driver sliding back through the field. Yeah, see what I did there? Jeremy Burns.
That was an incredible transition, I must say.
Oh, yeah. Burns struggling. Calm as ever, but back to 7th. Remember, he was 2nd only a handful of laps ago, and we only have the stage in under 10 laps.
Side by side here with Justice Murphy. The 9 up high, the 12 down to the inside. Burns, winner of the previous 2 races, winning both at Atlanta and Watkins Glen, was trying to go for the round sweep here tonight. Right now, trending in the wrong direction, though, is that Chapman Environmental Services number 9.
He's going to have to work for it. Back to 8th now if he's going to get that win tonight. But, I mean, we've seen stranger things happen. I think New Hampshire.
Keep thinking about the New Hampshire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Never can count the 9 out of a race after that.
At this point in the race, he was 4 laps down at New Hampshire. So, yeah, I think he's got a chance still. I think anyone in this field has a chance if they're in it. That's just been the unpredictable nature of this season as we are deep in lap traffic. I'm sure the 22 is going to love seeing a caution here, so he doesn't have to work through this, but 3 wide in front of him. That is not what you want to see as the leader.
Diaz wisely pulled out of that situation. Now maybe thinking about getting right back involved.
Drove right back into it.
Sometimes we just have our vices, and in that case, the 26s might have been sending it through the middle here at Bristol. But
Rader's going to give him a shot.
Gilbert sneaking on through. Rob Rader trying to get up there, but nowhere to go. And this will bring out the stage at the end of this lap, I believe.
There's a phrase about a butterfly and a bee. I think that was evident right there. One just floated through the middle, and one made a hole. Oh, the 41's got heavy damage. It's a playoff driver. I believe that is going to be the stage. I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, once the top 10 cross the line, I believe. And
there it
is.
Good call. So your top 10.
The 41 that you mentioned was one of those cars caught up in that early incident, just trying to recover from that still.
Absolutely. 2 laps down and 26th. Well, while we have them, let's have a quick look at your top 10. Travis Gilbert. Driver 1 in the stage. Rob Rader up to 2nd. Tyler Harrison in 3rd. Grant Thorpe was 4th. Carter Lind rounds out the top 5. Caleb Gilbert 6th. Justice Murphy in 7th. Burns stopped the backslide in 8th. Bresnock 9th. Picklesheimer in 10th. So, a few names there that did not get stage points. Trevor Keith, Michael Call. After Call was up in the top 10, was he not at one point? Slid
he
back
was
a
as
little
high
bit.
as 3rd about halfway through that stage.
So something went wrong for him. Johnston, Grant Turner, other stage drivers. Orlando Jr.'s a lap down. And then obviously Erhardt and Forget had their issues with the damage. Long pit road here. Definitely want to take tires. 65 laps in.
Yeah, we are hearing reports from the drivers that once you run about 40 to 50, anytime you have the opportunity to come down pit road, it's probably a wise decision to do so. So no shocker there that just about everyone has come down pit road for 4 fresh Goodyears.
And into the first pit stall goes the 22. Long pit road. This is absolutely the longest pit road. Probably, I don't know if it's quite in iRacing, because I think Spa has quite a long pit road as well, but definitely the longest one time-wise of the NASCAR racetracks because of the single pit road. You enter, what is it, enter into 3 or out of 4 and exit?
Yeah.
Something like that? What is it?
You enter into 4 and exit out of 3, which is literally the entirety of the track.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
They used to do the old dual pit road setup where if you were in those first 20-some stalls, you would just enter in turn 4 and exit turn 1. And if you were in the back half, you would enter in turn 2 and exit turn 3. But that has since become the case where everyone has the same route through pit road.
It's so hard to figure out where your box is. That's the hardest part, because you don't get your box assigned until the race starts. So you don't get to practice that pit entry, figure out where's your sign, all that stuff. That's something that a lot of drivers struggle with, especially at a racetrack like this, Martinsville, anywhere where you pit on a curve, or a racetrack like Talladega where all the signs kind of hang out in all the different directions. It's hard to tell where your box is. Easy to slide through them here at Bristol and really all over at the iRacing Cup circuits.
Yeah, and this is also one of those tracks that you have more I think this is the track more than most where you'll find a lot of pit road speeding penalties, especially if you have the misfortune of having to come down pit road under green flag conditions. With pit road speed only being 35 miles an hour, it absolutely drags. And if you're under green flag and you're seeing cars go by at 120, 130, it doesn't help. You get really antsy on the throttle because you feel like you're wasting so much time. You'll lose 3 or 4 laps, and it's so easy just to get a little bit too much of it. Get up to like 40, 45, whatever it may be, and they'll dock you every time for it.
The good news about that, if you watch the race on Saturday, Ty Gibbs had a speeding penalty coming out of his pit box, rounding the curve because of the way that radius worked. That is not the case in iRacing. Those are measured by speed, as in like a speedometer, not by distance over time. So there is no fear of cutting the radius and speeding that way. We have speedometers here in iRacing to be able to do that on pit road, so that will not be a reason your driver speeds tonight if they have the misfortune, I should say unfortunate is not a word, the misfortune of doing that. Yeah, so that's just a little bit about iRacing, about how speeding works here. And we've all sped on pit road. It's such an easy thing to do. The line is so razor thin. Here we go, back green, into the zone. 22 with another great launch. That is scary for the rest of the field. That's 6 car lengths into turn 1. Like, there is nothing you can do about that.
Now, the only way you can stop that is if you time it perfectly with them. And even if you did that, I still think the 22 would get out to a rocket lead there. It just seems like that is his bread and butter tonight, is these restarts. Nothing so far that we've seen in the 3 times he's taken the green flag tonight would show otherwise. I mean, he has jumped out to a massive lead each and every time. Raider going to clear Grant Thorpe for second and now have his eyes set on the 22. Was reeling in Gilbert a little bit right at the end of the stage there when the 22 caught lap traffic. But in the couple laps here where they do not have lap traffic to contend with, curious to see the pace differential between the 22 and the 53.
Absolutely right about that. 53, also like a rocket, Rob Raider has been. Wouldn't that be a good nickname? We'll talk about that later in the show. We're great at nicknames. Like, where is he? Where is he? We know who we're going to. There he is. Getting moved out of the way. Grant the toes Turner. He's been doing a little moving of his own. Look at the nose on that car all dented in. It's tough racing back here in the teens at Bristol. It's just a hard place to be. Got to scrap and claw for everything back here.
And no one's going to give you anything because there's no way, to your point, of getting out of the way. Nowhere to hide here at Bristol. You're just kind of locked into Thunderdome, and at some point, it's going to spit somebody out willingly or unwillingly.
The Thunderdome.
Yeah, Thunder Valley, Thunderdome, it kind of worked.
I see what you did there. Devin Hudgens racing in VR. I could not imagine racing in VR at Bristol. Oh,
That
man.
would get me so nauseous. I have no doubt about that.
The headache he must have. Wow. Got some extra strength aspirin. I am sure of it. Devin Hudgens running 19th right now, down a few spots from his starting position. Oh, he turned
Whoa,
him.
Diaz is
The
around.
26 is around.
Richardson got a corner of Diaz going in the one.
And then
And
Joya
it's-
got it as well. Yeah, we saw that
Yeah,
live. But
hard
let's.
careening down the backstretch.
Yeah, that was wild, and it happened so fast.
Oh, big damage for Bennett. Big time damage for the 14.
Let's go back a little further here. So I think it was the 8th. Just kind of
I
missed the
believe you're
bottom a
right.
little bit.
Yeah, Diaz was up high here, was getting a good run down the front straightaway, and then, just tries coming down a little bit when the 8 hasn't turned yet.
Oh, the
And
14
Diaz
lost it
more or
on his
less
own,
gets it.
actually.
Yeah, Diaz more or less got it connected and then ends up making contact with the 17. A great save by Diaz.
Yeah, what happened to
Big
Bennett?
damage though for Bennett.
I think he just lost handle of the car. Let's go back here a few seconds and see what it was. But yeah, that was odd because it looked like I don't think he missed it that bad. Like, so there's the contact. 8 just missed the bottom and he's loose. Just loose on his own, and then it
Yeah,
steered back on the outside wall.
a little bit of an overcorrection, and these next gen cars, the moment that you overcorrect it, there's no catching it. They're usually pretty good about not spinning out fully to the left, but if you try chasing that thing back up the racetrack and it actually makes traction with the racing surface, it's over at that point.
Well, I've said it a number of times throughout the season. This is the hardest car in iRacing to save when it gets pointed back to the right. They run so much nose weight in these cars, so much cross weight in these cars to make a turn, especially at Bristol. You just once it gets right, like you said, the momentum of it brings it towards the right, and you just, even if you have the wheel locked to the left, it will not grab and come back. It's less the steering and more just the way the car's designed that you just cannot bring it back. And it tough for the 14, destroyed the right front suspension. He's gonna have to work hard to drive that thing, let alone be competitive here. Running 24th right now.
And it does appear that the 17 of Joe Joya out of the car at this point, so another car whose day is done here at Bristol. The list starting to add up a little bit. We came into tonight with 30 cars. Looks like there's only about 22 currently scored still on the lead lap.
I see that. Diaz, Orlando Jr., Bennett, who's behind the wall at the moment. Al Likens, Joe Joya, Trevor Keith, Alex Forget, Chris Nail are the drivers one lap down. That is 23rd through 30th. Working lap 82 here at Bristol. On the choose, both take the high line. First time all race, we've seen Travis Gilbert choose the high line. See what that does for him here on the restart. And I think that's a big advantage for Rob Rader as well, the driver right behind him, because Rader now, you can time it up. You can go early in the zone, and if you're a quarter second faster than the 22, so what? Because you just get to push him through the restart zone. And then now you're right on his back bumper, and you've been arguably the faster car. We haven't really seen them mano a mano, so to speak, but we might be fixing to see it right here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because that 22 though gets such a launch. 53 is going to really need to do something different here to try and keep pace with him, because no one has been in the same area code as Travis Gilbert whenever he's gotten going tonight on these restarts. And then Grant Thorpe going to try and make it happen on the inside, taking the track position to line up on the front row. However, we've seen that inside definitely not be the place to be on these restarts.
Yeah, he'll have to fight hard. I think best bet for the 77 is obviously slides up in front of the 53, but I think more than likely he's going to slide in right behind that 53, in right in front of Carter Linz, and roll off in third. But we're going to find out here shortly. Into the zone. He caught him sleeping again.
Travis Gilbert's ability to restart tonight has been something to marvel at.
Absolutely has been. He's not even in the frame. Like, the guy is half a second in front. We haven't even finished the lap yet. He's got those rear tires hooked up, and here comes Raider. I think Rocket might be an apt nickname, because look at this driver go to the outside.
Oh, yellow's
Caution's
out. Did not take long.
Harrison.
Oh boy.
I don't think there's any damage on the 45. But that's not, oh, maybe a little bit there on the left front, but that's not helping the playoff chances at all.
Especially worth noting, Tyler Harrison comes into tonight about 10 points behind the cut line. He was someone who really needed a good race tonight to advance to the round of 12.
So here behind Hudgens. Got Turner on the bottom. Still behind
Oh,
Hudgens. I see a car get
McGeorge
loose.
there.
That's McGeorge.
McGeorge into the wall, and then gets turned by Burns.
Yeah, off the front bumper of Burns. Nothing either of those drivers could have done. Let's see what happened to the 98. The other driver involved, he's also around right there. Got Alves on the outside. I don't think he expected Alves to be there. Oh, got Trevor Keith, too. That's heavy damage on the 15. And then hit pretty good by the 23 as well. One last replay here. Let's ride on board with the 23. So you see these guys are well up the road. McGeorge right there in the center. You can see the car sideways. Yeah, just not out of the way in time is Christopher Schaefer.
Incidents like that develop so fast here at Bristol. There's barely a second to react. Some of those drivers were able to get down and away, but a couple of folks, like we just saw on the onboard there with Christopher Schaefer, unable to do so.
And the hardest part about that is that it's the repeated hits, right? Like the car that was spun out there, whose number eludes me at the moment. I can't remember. Oh, 45 sitting sideways on the racetrack, and the 98 as well. And then they just continually get hit by car after car after car, and it takes the toll, right? It's not usually the first hit that does it. It's usually that second, third, fourth hit when the other cars continue to pile in. That's the one that really does the damage. So tough break for all those drivers involved, but we're going to slowly but surely add to the list of lap down cars tonight. I wonder how bad the damage is on the 15. Needed a good run tonight. I don't think it's too bad. I don't see much on the right side. How about the left? A little scrape, but I think it hit him right in the door.
Yeah, I think he's going to be able to walk away from that in relatively decent shape, at least compared to some of his playoff competitors. You see there, Trevor Keith currently scored 5th coming into tonight in the points. So as long as he finishes with a decent result, he'll probably be all right to move on to the round of 12. But for drivers like Tyler Harrison, who got caught up in that one, that is the last thing you wanted to see. The 45 still scored on the lead lap here. I can't imagine that the car will be handling all that well.
Yeah, 18th at the moment. I don't think the damage was all that bad comparative to a lot of the other drivers out here today. Yeah, you can see a little wrinkle on the left front, but aero's not terribly important here. Right front's got some too, I suppose, but as long as the suspension is straight, then it's right on board here. Can't quite see the steering wheel, but it seems to be all right. His hands aren't in a weird spot, so I think he'll be okay. Time will tell for the 45. Gilbert has led every lap so far. It helps when you get a 6-car length lead off of every restart. Gonna take the bottom this time. Didn't like it on the high side last time.
Maybe he doesn't want the 53 to try and time the jump lining up behind him.
I would think that is accurate. I would if you have the timing so well, I would definitely do something different than your biggest competitor, which I would say is the 53. Make him have to guess, because as the outside car, you're at a huge disadvantage here just with how the restart zone works and just how quickly you go from basically stopped, all things considered, to fully on the throttle. We'll see it again this time. Huge launch. And still nobody in the area code.
Unreal. He can just check out. It's truly unbelievable. And then the 53 has to do all this work just to clear Grant Thorpe. Grant Thorpe has done incredibly well for himself on the inside of the racetrack tonight, just sticking around whoever's trying to clear him on the high side. That 77 has been deceptively quick tonight.
How about Carter Linz? Working his way slowly but surely up into the top 5 here. Caleb Gilbert as well hanging around there.
Speaking of folks making their way up the field, how about the one of Matt Robinson up from 23rd to 7th?
Right about that. We're about 6 laps away from a mention, happy birthday mention, but we'll save that for lap 101, and you'll see why here in just a minute. Phenomenal story. Matt Robinson and family. Back up front, we single filed out for the first 7. First battle is right here, and it's the 101. Gonna make a move on Picklesheimer. A couple non-playoff drivers. He might even clear off the corner. He did. Good pass. Matt Robinson up to 6th.
He's up now 16 spots from where he qualified tonight. It's been a great drive to the front of the field for Robinson.
Absolutely has been. All right, I think by the time we finish this, we'll probably be at lap 101.
I believe he would.
Alex, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you can see on board there with the 101 tonight, normally running the 1 car, Matt Robinson tonight running the 101 to celebrate the birthday coming up of his grandmother. Happy birthday to Ava and Selma, who turns 101 on Thursday. It's Matt Robinson's grandmother, and in honor of her and her birthday coming up, we'll be running the 101 car today. And with it being lap 101, happy birthday again to Ava and Selma. Matt Robinson's grandmother turning 101 years old. Truly wild stuff.
Yeah, that's terrific. I mean, world life expectancy is 72. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
101 is a crazy number. I mean, I can't fathom that. That's impressive, and congratulations from all of us here at V-Speed. Wish you a happy birthday tomorrow. Anyway, back to the race. We have a side-by-side battle. Linz took an effort at it, and look at the 101. I know we were riding on board with them, but my goodness, shot out of a cannon. Up to the 5th position.
And it's about to be more. He's right on the back bumper of Rob Rader here, trying to clear Carter Linz. A couple of playoff drivers fighting for the championship hopes. Matt Robinson trying to play spoiler tonight.
He absolutely is. A lot of non-playoff drivers having good runs. See Picklesheimer in the back of the frame right there. The 43 has been stout all night. Nick Alves as well. Remember, we talked about him struggling in practice. He was 16th last time we saw him. Nick Alves into the 8th position. This is not a strategy play either. This is just pure pace out of the 24. So we're catching lap traffic. Compromise line a little bit there, but nothing too crazy. Parker Johnston in the 9th position, showing that he earned his way into these playoffs, and he is a force to be reckoned with. Keeps running like this. He's got a little Chase Briscoe in him, if you will. Driver who
Absolutely.
I think surprised the field by making it into the playoffs at Daytona, but has shown that he has the speed to run top 16 in this championship fight, and may even run top 12 if he keeps going this way. And we talked earlier about the difficulty of running in traffic. You see a few cars playing pinball right there. They're still playing pinball. But
That got real dicey.
have a look at Jeremy Burns here, who was running up in the top 5 as high as 2nd. Fell back on the stage there to about 8th spot. Currently 18th position for the driver of the 9. And this is just simply pace. Not pace and simply traffic, right? You can't go as fast when you've got cars bouncing off the walls in front of you and you got cars who are just slower than you, but you can't get around them because it's a one-groove racetrack. So I think, oh, there goes the 18.
Oh, Skurkovich got real loose.
Saved it, though. Terrific work. Lose
Good
a couple
save
spots here, but yeah, that was a great save.
With the race sponsorship on board, the All About Bugs 18. Getting a little bit sideways down the front straightaway, trying to get it recollected. Lost a couple spots, but still trucking along there inside the top 20. Currently running actually in 20th position.
Catching his breath right now. That was a ride, and yeah, he did a great job saving that car because that could have been pretty big. We've already seen a bunch of multi-car accidents today. That could have been another one. Speaking of accidents, Tyler Harrison has moved his way up the field here. He was caught up in that last crash. Up to 14th. Needs a good run. Remember, he's 10 below the cut line. Got playoff point or got stage points in the stage there, but needs a good run if he's going to pass guys like Raider, who is up running second, 1.8, off the pace of the untouchable Travis Gilbert.
And it is worth noting that there's a couple positions that have likely opened up. The two cars who might find themselves on the outside looking in and eliminated tonight could be the 19 of Alex Forget and the 41 of Trevor Erhardt. Forget right now scored 39 laps down in 28th, and the 41 of Trevor Erhardt not doing a whole lot better, running 16 laps down in the 24th position.
Absolutely right. Let's ride on board with Alex Forget, see how bad the damage is. There's the driver from the gyro cam. Get you a good shot at just how insane the banking is on this racetrack.
It's up there with Talladega and Daytona, some of the highest banked tracks in the series. Yet instead of those tracks being 2.5 miles plus, you cut that by a fifth, and that's what you get here at Bristol. Only a half mile while still running these incredibly high banks.
Something interesting about this racetrack, and I don't know where it came from. Most NASCAR fans, at least when I started watching NASCAR in the mid-2000s, were told this track was at one point 36-degree banking. That was never the case. I don't know where that came from, but it was never 36 degrees. It's interesting how that information spread, but definitely high banks here. I believe we're at 28 degrees banking at this racetrack in 2024. Oh, we got a crash in front of them. 5
someone
wide.
blinked,
They're still
and
wrecking.
it's collecting everybody.
Still wrecking. Double zeros in it. 41 again. Oh, man. Tough break for a driver already having a rough night. But that started. I'm not even sure where that started. There was like 3 or 4 things that happened there.
There was someone next to Justice Murphy who blinked out on the front straightaway. And I think that's where this all started.
Let's go back a little further here. Yeah, Justice Murphy right there. See, Nick Alves as well.
Might be next time around here.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was Nick Alves.
Oh.
Blinked out at the worst possible time. Call had nowhere to go. Harrison's in it as
Harrison
well.
Involved again.
Yeah, that's going to hurt the nose of that 45, even a little bit more. But that's exactly what it was. Just the 45, or the 24 was there, and then he wasn't. Back to the live shot. Leaders coming down
just
pit road.
past the halfway mark here as everyone's making their way down pit road. No better time to come down and get tires than quite literally the dead middle point of this race.
That's right. Probably pit one more time from here. You can almost, you can cut the end of this race in half, I would say. If you pit at 75, that'll get you there on fuel. You might not like it on tires. You might want to pit at lap 50. Or in 50 laps, I should say. And then another 50 and then drive to the end, something like that. But that remains to be seen here.
Yeah, those will be a situation where you'd have to do it. I think if there's timely cautions, they might do the 2-stop.
Right.
if there's no timely cautions, they might do the one, because the last thing you want to do is have to pit under green multiple times here at Bristol. You just lose so much track position.
It's such a dangerous game because this is such a hard pit road to get onto. We've talked about it a few times. You can see the barrels at the top of the screen. Very easy to find yourself wound up in those barrels, and that will that'll end a day without any question. But few drivers stay out here. How about Jeremy Burns? We're just talking about him stuck in traffic, couldn't do anything with it. Well, move him up on 47-lap old tires to the point. This will be the first time all night a driver outside of the 22 has led a lap. And definitely the first time one of them has had a chance to lead on a restart. So do we see, the same kind of dominance here from Burns off of the jump as the 22 on the old tires? I'm curious to see how big of a deal that first car on the restart actually is.
Yeah, this will be the first real indicator. Obviously, Gilbert has done so well on these restarts tonight, but this will be the first one he doesn't get to control. Curious if he'll maintain that same level of jump. However, for Jeremy Burns, I mean, the big thing that he needed was that track position. He got stuck back there in like 17th, 18th, and there was just nowhere to go for the 9. Getting some clean air on the nose, I think, will do him a world of good and be able to, even if he loses a couple spots here, I think ultimately this might be a net gain for the 9, assuming that this doesn't go green all the way to a point where he has to pit early before everybody else.
I think even if it goes long, he's still in a window where he can make it on one more stop. He's close anyway. I don't think this is that big of a gamble for the 9, and he was running like 20th. So this is a big move. Big gain potentially if he's able to hang on these much older tires. Pace car's going to go around one more time. And we will get to it. Working lap 131 here at Bristol. The All About Bugs 250. It's been a good one so far. Travis Gilbert has dominated to this point in the 22. From the pole, led most of the laps to this point. Burns leading the first ones that are not led by Travis Gilbert. Matt Robinson, look at him, snuck his way up into the top 5 here. 4th spot on this restart. Behind the fresh tires, Element X Racing lined up on the bottom 1 and 2. Here we go. Oh, he missed a shift.
Big time checkup.
Oh, he's still missing shifts.
Wrecking. Everybody collected.
No. I think he was in first and tried to get to second and couldn't do it, if I had to guess. But that is going to put the 18 way back in traffic. Let's go watch that again. Already wrecking at that point.
Oh, man.
Hear it on board here. Yeah, see, he's in first gear. You can see it in the middle of your screen. Just listen, watch the RPMs and listen. Yeah, hung in first gear.
He never got out of first gear. I mean, it wasn't even like he eventually shifted up. Like, at no point, even while he was spinning, did he get out of first.
I think it was just because he's got cars pushing him from behind. He couldn't get it. You know, he couldn't get the jab in with the throttle to get it to go. But yeah, like, look at the outside line. Look how stacked up it gets. Turns the 77. He gets turned. Calls in it. Got Turner in it as well. Orlando.
A little bit of contact for the 27. Man.
Yeah, this is going to hurt a lot of playoff drivers' chances right here.
In rather brutal fashion, too. I mean, Travis Gilbert came into tonight, I believe, second in points, so he was probably going to advance either way as long as he didn't have a really, really bad day, but was on pace to potentially get a win here tonight. He looked to be the dominant car this evening, and now the complexion of this race has completely changed just past the halfway mark here after that.
And Burns must not have liked what he felt on the restart. He hits pit road. He's going to lose all that track position. We just talked about him gaining. Come out, looks like in the 17th, 16th spot, something like that. Well, new leader Rob Rader. And actually, 77, I believe, is a lap down now. Last car on the lead lap was in third or so on that restart. Remember, he got turned by the 22. So this is definitely interesting, the way this is shaking up the race. This is the big inflection point, if you will, of this race so far. And for the second Bristol race in a row, looks like one of the dominant two cars is going to end up having trouble mid-race. This time, though, it does not look fatal for the 22. If I remember correctly, his RPM still bounced back to 2,000, so he's got no motor damage after almost grenading it, but aero damage on the right front will hinder the performance just a little bit for a car that was absolutely dominant tonight.
Really mixes up this front of the field. Now you see you got Rob Rader, Carter Linz up there in the front row, and it'll be Matt Robinson and Parker Johnston. Row 2, Dylan Picklesheimer, Brandon Richardson. A lot of faces who have done some good work tonight getting themselves into this position, but have not had the luxury of running inside those top 5, top 6 spots. Really curious to see how this shakes out, especially when there's a lot of really hungry playoff drivers just behind them. Caleb Gilbert, Michael Call, Trevor Keith, Tyler Harrison, Grant Turner back there as well. I mean, this could really be an interesting restart with a lot of guys trying to force the issue here to be near 100 laps to go.
Yeah, definitely an interesting makings of this restart. See Parker Johnston trying to punch his ticket into the round of 12. And 3 more hungry non-playoff drivers behind him. Robinson, Picklesheimer, Richardson, and Hudgens. Just able to avoid the carnage today, and not many drivers can say that they've avoided the accidents. It's been a difficult race. I mean, we just had a handful of leaders taken out by a missed shift on the restart. So easy to do. Get it hung in first gear. But,
it's all happened to us at least once. But
definitely.
The last place you want it to happen is on the front row.
At Bristol. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I save that for Auto Club usually.
Me for Homestead.
Yeah. Big launch for the top side. 53 going to lead him into turn number 1.
It was a good launch for the 53, but Carter Linz got right up to his back bumper down the back straightaway. And you can see the 66 not letting the 53 escape the way Travis Gilbert would on some of these restarts.
I think it's that first gear launch, and I don't know if anyone else in the field was doing that. Clearly, it has its downsides if you do it wrong, but was able to do it right more than it went wrong. But that one time obviously was not great. Carter Linz trying to take the lead from Rob Rader on the bottom. Little contact in the center.
Contact.
Push him out of the way.
Little short track racing.
Yes, it is. Still side by side. This is more passing than we saw the entire NASCAR race on Saturday.
Tell you what, Matt Robinson looking to play spoiler here tonight for the non-playoff guys. He's about to get around Carter Linz for second. And here comes the 101. And that birthday regalia right on the back bumper of the leader now, up 21 spots.
Yeah, a lot of speed for the 101. Must all be all the birthday cake.
Just fueled by pure sugar and adrenaline right now in the 101.
Absolutely. Single file throughout the top 10. Back to Trevor Keith in the 11th position.
Oh, I think Rader clipped the wall. Robinson's right alongside him. Not able to make it happen that time around, but I think the 53 just barely clipped the wall out of 4 last time around, and it let Robinson get right to the inside of his door.
Rader definitely working the extreme high line. Slide job not successful that time. Oh, slide indeed. Able to keep it under control, lose the momentum just a little bit for Matt Robinson. Slides back up for Carter Linz. Linz now to the bottom of the racetrack. He take the spot back. Oh, into the outside wall is the 101. Pushing
While
hard here.
this is going on.
100 laps to
You
go.
can
Oh,
see-
he doesn't
oh,
again.
big time contact for Robinson again. He's really pushing it. He's clipped the wall twice now. And lurking on to the scene
Third
there
time.
in P4, here comes Dylan Picklesheimer just behind him.
Look at the 43 go. Raider, not a great exit. Robinson's alongside. Still not successful with the pass. How do
I think
you
if
clear
he's
the leader?
willing to extend his exits when he's on the inside of the 53 just a little bit higher. You see how shallow of a corner exit he's got.
Dude.
He's willing to move it up the track just a little bit more, maintain a little bit more of that runoff. He might have a chance, but obviously you got to trust that the 53 is all the way up against the outside wall there.
I think if there's one driver you can trust in this field to run the proper line at Bristol, it's that 53. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. My concern is, where do you pass him? I don't think it's going to be on the exit. You're probably going to have to slide job him. Remember back early in this race, lap 25 or so, we saw the 22 drive up the racetrack to block the 9. I think it's going to have to be a move like that. Something aggressive. Take the line away. As the top side has definitely become dominant. First driver not on the top. It's falling back, and that's Caleb Gilbert. Richardson's going to go around the outside.
Despite
Harrison.
everything, Tyler Harrison in the top 10.
Golly.
What a gritty performance for the 45 and a must, well, maybe not a must win, but a must perform situation tonight. Came in 10 points below the cut line. Boy, is he putting in some work with a pretty beaten and battered race car.
How about the 39? He was caught up in that last accident as well. I think he caught a piece of the 22. See the damage on the left front. He's in ninth spot right now. So a lot of speed out of the playoff drivers, and definitely some great performances throughout. Under 100 laps to go. Everyone's chasing this guy. Rob Raider led 21 laps, up 3 spots from where he started, but under fire. The 101.
Robinson, I think, now changing tactics, maybe not going for the pass just yet, trying to see if he can guilt the 53 into making some kind of mistake. He's running right behind him, and then he gets in about half a lane down in the corner. Just kind of keeps poking his nose out. And I think it's keeping him pretty close to the 53 here without burning out his tires by continually lunging to the inside line. So right now, maybe just a situation of trying to maintain pace with the leader here for Matt Robinson as
Could
he
also
settles
be
into P2.
waiting for the lap car. I see Justice Murphy not too far ahead, running the bottom line. That could be a situation that maybe gets the 53 a little out of his rhythm. Able to make a move there, but the gap is growing first to second. A little further back, 48 on the bottom. The 8 cars come alive. So is the 45.
Bloody hell.
Michael Call gatekeeping the 5th position. He's got a bunch of hungry drivers right behind him. Richardson's trying to bump draft.
I'll say the 3 drivers who entered tonight below the playoff cut line are all in the top 7 right now. Raider leads. You got Michael Call in 5th, Tyler Harris in 7th. Those guys are putting on a performance when it matters most here to try and keep their championship hopes alive. What a drive from all 3 of these guys. It's been a gritty one, especially for the 45, being caught up in 2 different incidents and still willing that thing to run right now, run P7.
And remember, if Raider wins, that's going to push out Forget or Erhardt or someone in that area as well, right? That's more than just pointing your way in. That's locking in a spot in the next round. There's no question about it if the 53 is able to win the race. So that's big for this playoff hunt here going into the round of 12.
Yeah, especially with the issues that the 41 and the 19 have had tonight. I mean, those 2 may as well be out of the playoff running as they go, just through the nature of how good the 3 cars below them are running right now. Obviously, still just under 100 laps left. A lot of things could happen here from Bristol, but right now things not looking great for the 19 and the 41.
27 soldiers on in 13th position. At the Candyman and Parker Johnson in front of him. The 48 falling back a little bit, was up in the top 5. Now back in the 12th position. A lot like Jeremy Burns. I don't know if that's just burning up the right front, maybe the right rear. Not sure what it is, what handling characteristic causes a car to fall through the field so quickly, but the 48's got it right now. Look at how slow he is in the center of the corner. Even running the high line, cannot get the drive off.
Yeah, and now you've got a couple of really fast cars behind you there, and Jeremy Burns and Travis Gilbert. So the 48 in danger of losing 2 more spots here if he's not careful. Looks like the 22 is going to roll that high side as the 48 went low. Burns going to try and follow Gilbert on through.
Not missing anything out front. Raider leads by 0.6 over Linz, and then it's 2.5 back to Robinson, who has fallen off of that lead group. And there is a gaggle of cars in front of these drivers, all behind Robinson. 3 wide.
Whoa. Caleb Gilbert trying to do it down low. Contact with the 8 and the 43. Richardson all over the back bumper of Picklesheimer.
Daytona
right now.
or Bristol, I can't quite tell. They are.
Calling the wall.
Look at the 45 rolling down on the apron there.
Holy. Drivers on the radio right now with each other trying to get this situation sorted. What a mess.
I think there's some angry drivers for sure, but yeah, this is not what you want to see. If you're someone's, oh, he's gonna turn him. Picklesheimer gets into him.
Into the wall.
No caution. Oh, devastating for the 45. Having a great run and was 1 car away from clearing that group.
It looked like the 8 of Richardson got into the back of Picklesheimer, who got him up into Harrison there. And just as looked like the 45 was going to clear the pile, he ends up in the outside wall and lose back. I mean, look at just how bottled up. I mean, this is 10, 12, 15 cars all stacked up within a second and a half here. Holloway contact with Richardson, the 21 stuck in the middle.
And where did Trevor Keith come from? Haven't said his name much
look at
today.
him.
Up to 5th position. Oh, so clear off the 43. Golly.
What a battle.
That was close. Oh, boy.
They are
3
3 wide still. Grant Turner now stuck in the middle.
You didn't see this on Saturday, did you?
I don't know if I've seen this anywhere.
Not at Bristol. Oh, we're still wrecking.
Oh, Richardson now in the middle.
How did Jeremy Burns get through that? What on earth? Oh,
Robinson
he turned him
now
again. The
covered.
21's
Oh,
in it. Big
and
wreck.
it collects everybody. This
Big
time,
wreck.
the yellow comes out for sure.
No caution. There it is. Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. I don't know what to say. That was, I mean, hard racing, and that blob of cars just slowly fell back through the field until the 21 or 22 could not quite clear. Here it is one more time. There it is. Off of Matt Robinson, who's having a good run. I think he was getting tight. I have to imagine that was a handling characteristic he was trying to avoid. He's in the wall right there. And I think Harrison got a piece of this as well. You see they're going to be stacked up off the corner. I think we're still about 2 laps ahead of this.
I believe it's right
here. Yeah, Robinson's a ways down the racetrack. 22
Oh,
got,
Harrison caught in that. Yeah, Alves sneaks on by. Got a piece of the wall, but was able to get around.
22 got hit
Same
pretty
with
good in that
Corvette.
left front tire. I don't know. I have to see if I don't know. I'm not sure if that left front tire is going to be all that good for the 22 anymore, but I guess we'll see here shortly.
You know, Morgan, sometimes we talk about wrecks that start on the exit of turn 2, but don't necessarily materialize to like the entrance of turn 3. This was a wreck that started on lap 170 that didn't materialize to lap 179.
Yeah, I have never seen a crash take 10 laps to play out, but we just saw it there. Started up in the 2nd and 3rd position. Robinson, I think, got tight, ran a little too hard early in the run, and just slowly fell back through the field, and then quickly fell back through the field. A number of cars stuck behind him, just trying to make something happen, also with tight race cars. And we saw the result right there, just a few drivers caught up in it that didn't have much choice to get away from it.
That might be some of the most insane racing I've ever seen at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah, that is
Straight up, that was
YouTube
some of the most jaw-dropping stuff I've ever seen. And I won't say I'm surprised that there was a wreck that followed that, but boy, it was fun while it was happening.
But I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great racing here in the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series, presented by Racing Revolution. Come to expect it every week. I mean, we talked about it at our prolonged Atlanta post-race show a few weeks ago. Talked a little bit about just how great this season has been, and we're seeing it again here tonight. I mean, 3 wide, sustained at Bristol for 10 laps. I mean, you don't see that anywhere. The pros can't even do that. So that's
what's wild is it wasn't even the 3 wide that caused the incident. It was only 2 cars that got into each other, and then they were just stuck behind them. But I mean, they were in their own roundabout way making it work. And, you know, there was still 70 laps to go in this one, but damn, that was fun.
And a driver, I think, who benefited from that, I'm going to call it gaggle the most, Kevin Orlando Jr.
Yeah.
We haven't talked with the 27.
Him and Trevor Keith.
Barely at all. I think he was a lap down at one point.
He was.
And now he's 7th. Trevor Keith as well was just kind of a non-factor. Now he's 4th. Bristol changes quickly.
That it does. So we'll be going green this next time around. It'll be Rob Rader and Carter Linger front row, Caleb Gilbert, Trevor Keith row 2, Grant Thorpe, Kevin Orlando Jr. in that 3rd row, Picklesheimer and Burns, Diaz and Robinson. A couple of new faces in this top 10 when this all got sorted out. Curious to see what the 15 and the 27 will bring to this lead pack after kind of getting shuffled in there.
And for you Alex Forget fans, up to 24th. Still Soldiers on 39 laps down, but he's doing everything he needs to do to move on in the playoffs, getting every point available. He's already gained 6 of them since the start of the race. Extreme high line on the restart for Rob Rader. Pays off. Side by side for 2nd.
Here comes Caleb Gilbert, though. A good run off of turn 2. He's got a nose ahead of Lins. Gets right to the back bumper of Rader. That 54 looks like it's got some speed as he just barely clips the wall but clears the 66.
Yeah, fresh tires agreeing with the 54. Got to be careful not to suffer the same fate that his teammate Jeremy Burns did, trying to chase down this 53 machine. Loose off the corner there. That's Bristol, isn't it?
Oh, you betcha. A little farther back in the field, that's Kevin Orlando Jr., that red car on the inside, battling with Kyle Diaz, trying to hold on to position number 7 right now. 27. Started all the way back into the mid-20s today. He's got himself up into a really good points position if he can hold on to it. And he gets real ways. Boy, did I almost commentators curse that in real time. He's still loose.
Did a great job saving that car, but he's going to lose all that track position back to 13th. He's just lucky that the 00 was right there behind him and noticed that, checked up for it, because, yeah, that was, he was free falling right there. It's a musical number if it wasn't copyrightable, you know. It should be a button on the...
I would break out into song, but nobody wants that either.
No,
so.
we don't need that. No. Battle for the lead. This is what we came here for. Element X Racing battling for the top spot. This time it's Robert Rader and Caleb Gilbert. Carter Lynn's in tow.
And I think we're getting a really good sense of just how valuable track position is right now. And we've seen it throughout the night where it's not been the easiest to pass, but you know, even cars like Trevor Keith in the 15 who haven't had a ton of pace in the middle of the field tonight, now that he's up toward the front of the field, he is holding on to it pretty effectively here, battling with Grant Thorpe, Dylan Picklesheimer, and Kyle Diaz, 4th through 7th in that little ball of cars.
I did not expect it to be this hard to pass tonight. But it has been, and as you said, track position has just been so key. Wherever you restart, you're probably going to run within about 3 positions of that spot for the entire run. It's just so hard to pass here. All you got to do is not make mistakes, and I think pretty much every driver in this field has made some sort of mistake tonight. It's just about minimizing them. Yeah, it's so difficult here at Bristol.
Grant Thorpe has been running inside the top 5 basically every lap tonight. It's been a really solid drive for the 77. Started in that second row and hasn't looked back. He's been running second or third the whole time. Is Raider in the wall a little bit there through 1 and 2. Might open up the door for Linz to try and reel him in.
Linz maybe going to get to the quarter here. Not quite. Still side by side for fourth. This battle will not go away. Picklesheimer wants to be involved as well. As Keith just about gets the spot, maybe this time. Off the corner, he will. 43 is going to chase him through. 26, now it's a freight train. Here comes Robinson. Back to 8.
Boy, has he had an eventful night or what?
Sure has. Sure has. Again, fueled by cake. Sugar and adrenaline. Getting after it.
Yeah, we may have saw the Sugar crash there about 30 laps ago when he was starting to fall back through the field, but come down pit road, get yourself a new slice, you're right back at it. Meanwhile, back at it still, it's Carter Linz battling with Rob Raider at the front. He's looked high, he's looked low, he's looked everywhere right now to try and get around the 53. But Raider making that car 3 lanes wide right now for Linz.
And we've worked into the last 50 laps of this race. Down to the nitty-gritty of it, the pay window is opening, and it's going to be very difficult. If you make a mistake from here on out to get back to it, Linz to the outside. Can he get the momentum? That might be just the move he needed. I think Raider's
Really
trying
intrigued
something here.
Yeah, but I was really intrigued that the 53 went to the low side there in 1 and 2. I haven't seen that much from him tonight, and now he's back to the high side, maybe partially because Linz was taking a peek to the inside. But really curious what the thought process was there for Raider, because he has not run the low side very much tonight.
If you're the leader and you have somebody who's barreling down on your back bumper, and they're running the same line every single lap, try something different. Not necessarily because you're going to be faster, but because you might confuse them. You might get them surprised. You might get them even a little excited. Oh, the top's open. I can push a little harder and get in the outside wall. Or I can push a little harder and you miss the exit. Or you slide off the corner or whatever have you. It can be it's a tool for the crafty veterans just to try and do something different and surprise that guy behind you.
Carter Linz has done a really good job keeping that gap. As we jump back here, Sirkovich and Burns, the battle for 8th on track.
How about
Jacob
the 18?
Sirkovich up, yeah, he's having a pretty solid night. He's up about, what would you say, 19 spots or so from where he qualified. It's been a really quality run tonight for the All About Bugs machine.
There has been. Driver up the most positions, though. How about Kyle Diaz? 24 of them. Goodness
There was
gracious.
only 29 for him to grab, so he's got about just about every one of them. Trying to break his way into the top 5 if he can get around Picklesheimer.
Yeah, it was not a good day so far for drivers who started up in the top 5. Only one of them remained. That's the leader, Rob Raider. All the other drivers in the top 5 have fallen outside of it. Thorpe running in 10th. Harrison is running in 12th. Travis Gilbert is 19th.
He's also 1 lap down.
He is. That's how bad you need track position here. Remember, he dominated the race. Led almost half of it. Bad launch on a restart. And now he's back in 18th. 19th now. First car 1 lap down. Just hoping for a caution.
That's really the only thing that's going to bail him out at this point. As you see Diaz now under pressure from Robinson. Robinson almost got right to the back bumper. Now going to take that high side. Can he find a way around Diaz?
Might have a 3 wide situation here in just a moment. Robinson to the top. Going to get the clear. Yes, he will off of turn 4. Burns going to follow through. That's how quickly you can lose 2 spots.
And Diaz going to try and get all the way up to the wall. Couldn't quite close off Sirkovich. And now here goes the 18, heavy into the outside
Nailed the
wall.
I can't imagine that's going to help the front end geometry too much.
And yet he still gets the pass done because the outside just that much better than the low side right now.
It is. It absolutely is. About 35 laps to go here from Bristol. Oh, he hit it real hard that time. That is not good for it. Candyman having a good run too. And there's Tyler Harrison again.
He is the man who will not die tonight. Tyler Harrison has been caught up in 4 separate incidents, I believe. Somehow still willing that car to run 12th. Just sheer determination right now for the 45. And now taking a look to the inside, Holloway for 11th.
And he was 10 points back at the cut line. An 11th place finish with some of the difficulties of other drivers. That could be exactly what he needed. Forget is only 12 spots behind him. And he did get stage points, if I'm not mistaken, 2 to the 45, so he's in a good spot right now, but he can't afford to fall back any further. With under 30 laps to go in this race. Tightening
Can't
up
afford
front
a
here.
5th incident.
Yeah, he can't afford that 5th crash tonight. Remember as well, something we haven't talked about yet, there are incident point penalties. And there have been a lot of incidents tonight. Probably a lot of 4Xs that we're going to have to worry about. So there could be some points penalties levied.
Picklesheimer into the wall there.
From this event here tonight. And you're right, the 5th place driver in the 43. The roles reversed a little bit. Remember, Robinson was the driver holding up the group before. Now it's Picklesheimer.
Robinson got right to the back bumper there. Going to give the 43 a little bit of encouragement down the back straightaway. And the 77 going to take a peek to the inside as well.
And you can see just how much faster the center of the corner is for the bottom line, but it's right there on the exit. You pull back car length to a car length and a half. He might clear this time. 77 will clear. That tells you the 43 is really struggling. Having a hard time getting that car to turn. The 101 get around him.
Yeah, Robinson's going to try his luck on the low side. He has not had a lot of success down there tonight. We saw to very little effect him try and make a pass for the lead on Rob Rader down there. And looks like he might not be able to get around the 43 down low either, especially not with Jeremy Burns punting Picklesheimer down the back straightaway.
Yeah, now Burns maybe going to take an effort to the bottom side, maybe to the middle. Robinson's going to fall right behind him.
Oh, more contact for the 43.
Can Burns get around him, move up to the 6th position? So far, so good, but not quite clear. You'll get him this time if the wall contact hurts the 43 too much. It doesn't. Great run off the corner. More contact in the center. Still so close to clearing.
I think the 43 has clipped the wall in 1 and 2 each of the last 4 laps. And yet he is still right there with Burns because that's just how much better the outside line is.
At the bottom, there's a lot of wall contact. The 3 and 4 is better for the bottom because of the wider radius. So if you can make it happen in 1 and 2 and you can maintain, you can definitely do better in 3 and 4. And speaking of a car that's been real good all day, how about the 22? Where is he on timing and scoring here? He's still a lap down.
Still
the first car one down, but he's fast.
If he was back on the lead lap, he'd be running 7th here behind Burns. But, with time ticking away, less than 20 laps to go here from Bristol, may not have enough time to get back onto the lead lap. Luckily for him, a good run last week at Watkins Glen, I think, will help him punch his ticket with a decent finish tonight. But definitely not how he wanted this race to go after he was so dominant in the opening 130.
Absolutely. Not sure if we've gotten to it yet tonight. I don't recall, but team points up on your screen. Element X Racing looking to cash in again. Move on to the next round. Really good battle for the 3rd and 6th seed, OMT and Tire Slayer Racing. Could go either way in that battle. Performance Motorsports Racing for Freedom also pretty close, especially with the 22 having his issues. Racing for Freedom driver. See how that one works out later in the show. Battle for second. Gilbert and Linz. Linz on the top. Gilbert on the bottom.
It's definitely worth noting that this battle comes at the cost of both of them have lost touch with the leader, Rob Rader. So as Gilbert almost gets up into the 66 there, that got real close.
Oh, he hit him for sure. There was contact, just didn't get the 54 turn sideways. He will clear into the corner, crossover, 66. Not enough juice. As Raiders forcing the 3 wide on lap cars. Holy cow, that was an aggressive move for the 53.
Just over half the field on the lead lap here. If he gets around Michael Call, that is the car that will make the official halfway mark through this field. The 89 really having some trouble handling the race car right now.
That's a playoff driver who needed a good run. 16th position might be enough.
Might be, especially with a lot of other playoff drivers still scored behind him. Justice Murphy, Trevor Erhardt, Alex Forget, Parker Johnston among them. But Rob Rader now with a lot of cars between him and Caleb Gilbert and a 2-second advantage. He just needs to keep all 4 tires on the car and keep the fenders off the wall for the last 9 laps.
Yeah, we are within the final 10. A few drivers trying to bring the caution out, it looks like. Some very unstable race cars at this point in the race. Still slicing and dicing. Is the 101, the 43. Look at the 84 roll the bottom. Hudgens into the top 10. Got a few names here.
Quiet night for the 84. But
4 of them on the screen we
go.
wouldn't normally see in the top 10. All having a great run, every one of these cars.
Absolutely. Hudgens doing a great job wrapping the bottom right now. Got around all 3 of those guys. They'll move all the way up to 7th.
Here comes Harrison. Going to try and get another one from the 18.
Harrison trying to get into the top 10. That'd be huge with the way his night's gone.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, I think he caught up in every accident so far tonight. His fault or not. Every corner of that 45 has got damage.
And yet still may have an opportunity here to clear Sirkovich and get into the top 10 as we have 5 laps to go here from Bristol Motor Speedway.
This is the best battle on the racetrack. We'll keep it here for a little while longer. 3 cars. 9th, 10th, and 11th. 101, the 18, and the 45. 101's tight again. And they're stacking up behind.
Hold up the 18, the 45 with a window of opportunity.
He's got to go right now. 3 laps to go. He's got the inside position. Can he accelerate off the corner? Can he use the 101 as a pick? 2 laps to go. And the leader's not too far behind them.
No, he is not. He is watching this battle happen in real time.
That's the top 10 in front of him. That's unbelievable. To take the white flag, Erhardt Holmes, love where you live. Rob Rader had a great effort tonight. Rolls 3 and 4. The last time catches the wall, probably for the first time tonight. And off at turn 4, Rob Rader is going to win at Bristol. Well, Bristol sweeping as he won in the spring as well. Leads 115 of 250.
And just as a fun bit of note, Harrison got around Robinson and Sirkovich. That beaten and battered number 45 is going to bring it home in 9th tonight.
Great run. Needed that. And now we have the picture, as always. The top 3 finishers, plus Jeremy Burns for the moment. Second and third pull away. There is your winner. What do you think? I think the Rocket. It's a pretty good nickname, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we test? Why don't we test it out here in just a second when we bring the driver up in the booth? Let him burn it down a little while longer. All right, let's chat with our winner, Rob Raider.
Fucking crying, bitch.
That was
I mean,
great on the broadcast. Rob Raider.
Huh?
Rob the Rocket Raider. Morgan and Alex up in the booth, you got a copy.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, well, big win here tonight. You needed it. Came in below the cut line, won your way into the round of 12. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about the evening tonight?
Well, really, the key was just not getting involved in any stuff there. I know Travis probably had the pace to win the race tonight, and I'm not sure exactly what happened on that restart, but I think he got caught up in that, and then I just kind of inherited the lead, and then it's just run the top and don't let those guys to your inside. So Carter gave me a really good run for the win for a while there, and I think same thing happened to him that happened to me earlier in the race, and just running right behind the guy and trying to generate the momentum you need. You're just using more tire than he is. So, but yeah, man, I mean, great race. Not one I expected to come out here and win tonight by any means, and end it with a 0x. So you can't really do much better than that.
No, Bristol tonight, that was impressive. A lot of drivers had a lot of incidents throughout this race. But at any point, were you worried about points, or was it just eyes forward? You know, you were running second, third, and leading for a lot of this race. At any point were points a concern?
During the first stage, points were definitely a concern. A lot of the guys I was racing around that cut line were up there with me. So just trying not to get involved in anything, try to get some stage points. And you just had to assume, because it's Bristol, at some point, one of these playoff guys around the bubble are going to get themselves into some trouble. And I think it happened to a few guys tonight. So once I saw a few of them drop out, I knew that, I mean, really, as long as I could finish the race, I should be looking pretty good. So, yeah, I think I ran Tyler Harrison up the track there at one point. I was like, that's not good for either one of us. So tried to give that spot back. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole first stage was a little stressful.
Gotcha. He had a rough night. Tyler Harrison did. I think he got caught up in. We counted 4 at least, like multi-car crashes. Ended up finishing in the 9th position. Great effort for him. But this 53 was on rails. I mean, you were the only one who could really keep pace with the 22. It seemed like. And on the restarts, I mean, he was getting out to such massive launches. Was there ever a consideration of trying to restart behind him when he was on the bottom and see if you could match his restart? Or was it always just keep the top, it'll work out, I'll slide into second?
Well, Grant Thorpe really had some good opportunities to pass me there, and he almost did a few times. But, you know, at that point in the race, I knew it was going to be really, really hard to pass Travis. And I know him and I, you know, race really hard all the time with each other. And that really wasn't something I was interested in tonight, just trying to survive. So for me, it was about take the top, have a nice, easy launch. If he gets a good launch, then so be it. We'll try to hold off Grant Thorpe. But yeah, I really wasn't trying to take that battle to him tonight. And even if I wanted to, it was going to be really, really hard to pass him. So it just didn't seem worth it to put myself in that position.
All right. Well, that's great information to have. Thanks, Robert. And who do you want to shout out for a win here? How many wins is this year? Like 8, 9?
I think it's 8. I think I got 2 more to go to tie the record. So we'll see if we can get that done. But yeah, I think it's 8. But shout out to Chapman Environmental Services. Shout out to All About Bugs for sponsoring the race tonight. Shout out to V Speed. You guys do an awesome broadcast. Shout out to iRacing and their incredible stewards that they have back at corporate. And
Let's not say too much.
too much about what? And yeah, shout out to shout out to everybody who makes this thing happen, man. It was a really, really clean race here at Bristol tonight. I think you see most leagues are running nothing but caution laps, and it was a lot of green flag tonight. So really proud of the league too. That's a tough track to go out there and put on that much green flag racing.
Yeah, Alex and I were talking to him at one point. There were 3 wide sustained for about 10 laps, and somehow that was not the cause of one of the cautions. That was just a great byproduct of great racing. And yeah, the rest of the league, definitely a huge shout out to them. They did a phenomenal job. But that's your winner tonight, Rob Raider. Well done.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys.
You bet. All right. There's your winner. Been watching Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series. The All About Bugs 250 here at Bristol. Be back right after this commercial break with your results, the rest of the field, and interview of second place Caleb Gilbert and third place Carter Linz. Right back with you here in a few minutes.
So Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The ball gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Swack.
Swack.
A push from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back here on V-Speed, Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series presented by Racing Revolution. The All About Bugs 250 has concluded, and this is what it looked like. Rob Rader ends up with the win after 7 cautions and 4 lead changes. Caleb Gilbert, his teammate, going to finish in second. Carter Linz rounds out your podium. Grant Thorpe with a great run, and Trevor Keith snuck his way up into the top 5. Was able to finish in the 5th position. Jeremy Burns rebounds to 6th. Devin Hudgens, Picklesheimer, had a great runs tonight, 7th and 8th. Harrison defying the odds. I think he hit everything but the pace car, and that's because you drive right through it. No collision physics. Finishes in 9th. Matt Robinson, great run, finishes, look at that, 101. Isn't that something? Couldn't
Isn't that something?
we
indeed?
couldn't write it any better than this. Unbelievable. In 11, Jacob Sirkovich going to finish in the 18 machine. Richardson's going to finish 12th. Kyle Diaz in the back to 13th. And Christian Bresnock, last driver on the lead lap. Daniel Holloway, the Candyman, finishes in 15th. And now a run of playoff drivers. Gilbert, Call, Johnston, Orlando Jr., and Turner, all one or more laps down, 16th through 20th. Erhardt, Murphy as well, playoff drivers, 21st and 22nd. Likens in 23rd. Forget fought back to 24th. Might keep his playoff hopes alive another few weeks. Nick Alves, Christopher Schaefer in 26th. McGeorge, 27th. Bennett, short night, finishes 28th. Joya finishes in 29th. And Chris Nail left early. He finished in the 30th position. Phenomenal racing all night tonight. And Alex has caught up with our second place driver.
Hey there, Caleb. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
Well, it was a Element X 1-2 tonight with you and Rob Rader. You had to do a little bit more work from back to the front, it looked like there. And then on that last restart we ended up having, it looks like you had a lot of pace, got out there to that second, third spot, and were able to kind of lock it down from there. Talk to us a little bit about your night and what you were experiencing out there. It seemed like you had to find your way through traffic a couple times.
Yeah, it was one of those races where you go in knowing you need just a little bit. You don't need too much. So played it real conservative, especially at the beginning. We got a couple stage points. The second to last run, and then the one before that, I really saved my tires beautifully. Let 3-4 guys by and then pass them, all of them, and then some on the way through. That last run was a little tricky because you don't know, that's part of the race, where maybe the cautions fall, and then once you get one caution, they breed another. So kind of set in the middle there. I saved it really well, and then getting past Carter, I used all of it up. No chance I was going to get back to Rob after that happened. But it's one of those races where slow and steady will win the race, or at least finish second when Rob comes out of nowhere, comes back to win another. So that's kind of a basic rundown.
All righty. Well, talk to us a little bit about that battle at the end there with Carter Linz. That last restart, it looked like Linz had a shot at the lead there against the 53, and then when that didn't work out, it looked like he was just slowly falling back to you. Was that a matter of you feel like he burned up his tires a little bit, or did you just save enough to reel him back in?
Yeah, I'm surprised he hung on as long as he did, because you can hear everybody's engine around you. Rob was backing it up kind of like I was. I was running the bottom. Rob was on the top. Carter, he was going all out, but he really wasn't making too crazy lap time. But he held on a little bit longer than I thought he would, which kind of hurt me in the long run once my tires wear a little bit. Even if you save it, making that pass is hard. To kind of let them do their thing and hope they both come back to me. One did. Rob saved really well. That cat and mouse game, if not wanting to lose a spot to those guys that push really, really hard, just save everything. So, yeah, a great race all around. And shout out to Carter for not wrecking me. I almost cleared myself when I got really, really tight trying to secure the pass. So shout out to him.
All righty. And obviously, with the second place run tonight, feel pretty confident in speculating that you'll be moving on to the round of 12 here starting next week. Got to imagine you're feeling pretty good about that. And, with all the Element X guys, I believe, making their way on through, at least you, Burns, and Raider, how do you feel about you and the team's chances going into the round of 12?
Well, Rob and Burns have 1 million playoff points, so they'll be good. Barring a couple disasters. Last year, I had 30 playoff points when the playoffs started, or a little bit, like 27. This year, I have 4. So it's a lot harder to get through these rounds and navigate, and you got to be a little more conservative in race calls. So those guys are set and squared away. The racetracks are kind of, there's 2 wild cards in there with the Roval and Talladega. So it's really survive and advance, kind of like this round was.
Well, that is the name of the game here in the playoffs. It feels like you were able to do just that tonight. Caleb, anyone you'd like to thank or shout out this evening?
All the sponsors of the league: Chapman Environmental, Ultimate Siding and Gutters, Buttkicker, All About Bugs, Coastal Financial, you guys up in the booth. got a pretty good Bristol race in there. Sometimes you never know what you're gonna get. So glad you guys could show that off for everybody watching at home. Um, and everything else that goes into the league. We're in the final stretch here, and proud of the way everybody handles himself and how smooth it's been.
Yeah, it certainly was a fun one here tonight at Bristol. Definitely worth the rewatch. Caleb, thanks for dropping by, and best of luck to you in the round of 12.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
That was Caleb Gilbert, our second place finisher here tonight. Element X 1-2, thanks to him and Rob Rader's performance tonight.
Now Alex will teleport down the grid, catch up with Carter Linz in the 66, your third place finisher tonight.
Hey there, Carter, you got a copy?
Right here.
Well, an eventful one here tonight from Bristol. Looked like you got the full gambit. Started 8th, moved up to 3rd. Were challenging for the lead at one point. Was a part of that massive tussle in the middle of the race when everyone was going 3 wide for a little bit. Just talk to us a little bit about your race tonight and what it was like running so much green flag here at Bristol, something that we don't see too often on iRacing, I feel like, in league races.
Well, I was at the real Bristol race this weekend, and it kind of felt like that watching that race during those long green flag runs where it was just kind of that high side line became dominant. Trying to pass there on the bottom. Some people were able to make it work. It was basically just trying to bank on someone else having a little mistake, a little slip up. That was the only way that bottom side was going to work, and it was kind of 50-50 where people were going to go, and just trying to pick that line, see where everyone else goes, and hold on and pray. Basically, it's Bristol. Anything can happen, and sitting up there in the front kind of alleviated some of that issue. So it was kind of just ride to the end, see what happens.
Well, coming down to the end, you had an opportunity to try and battle with the 53 there for a little while. What was it like trying to get around later? I mean, to your point, it was incredibly tough to pass, especially on the low side tonight. We saw you take a couple cracks at it. What would have needed to change, do you think, for you to get around the 53?
I needed that high side and just a clean arrow shoot right off of 2 or right out of 4. I don't know what it was with me. A long run, I could not get the bottom side to work. I know right there at the end, I think 20 laps to go ish. That was when Caleb got around me. He got around me on the low side. Granted, my tires were were pretty shot, but no, there is some late run moves that you can make the bottom work if you saved enough tire, and I obviously didn't. Uh, Still happy though to finish on the podium tonight. Yeah, no, it's getting up there with Rob. It's very tough, especially when they're consistent, getting good runs on the high side. It's very tough there on the bottom to make anything work.
Yeah, for sure. And, obviously nothing official yet, but with a 3rd place finish, I'd feel fairly confident in speculating that you'd be moving on to the round of 12. Got to imagine you're feeling pretty good, not only about your performance tonight, but how this will set you up for the next 3 race slate here.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much another reset week. Hopefully, I make it in next week. I say we got Kansas, Dega, and the Roval. Kansas is kind of a wild card track. It's all lanes are kind of viable there. It's very wide and very racy track where all lanes it can be anyone's game there. Talladega, it's another wild card week. It's basically hold on, make it to the end. Roval, it's I have a suspicion who's going to win that already. But yeah, I'm hoping I can put on a show there too. I like road course racing, and I had a good finish there at the Glen. I hope I can continue that next road course.
Yeah, about to say the road course, I think, have suited you fairly well this year with the Glen. I also, if I'm remembering way back, I think you had a pretty good run at Coda, if I'm not mistaken.
Not particularly.
Yeah. we don't need to bring that back up there, Morgan.
Alrighty. Well, I'll just leave that one where it lies then, and I'll ask you, Carter, if there's anyone you'd like to thank or shout out here tonight.
Shout out you guys, V-Speed. Always great production. Always fun having you guys here. Racing Rev for putting on an amazing season. Bunch of great guys in here. Everyone's fun to be around, talk to, have a great time on track. Friends, family. I know I told a lot of people to start watching, so hello everyone out there. My girlfriend Sarah, she's upstairs watching right now. Yeah, no, I'll need to get to bed here soon, so that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I feel that. But Hey, Carter, congrats on the podium finish tonight.
Thank
Great
you.
run for you, and excited to see what you bring to the table here in the round of 12.
Yeah, thank you. Catch you guys in the next one, hopefully.
And that was your third place finisher here tonight, Carter Linds in the 66 machine. Good run for him. Got the lead a lap in there somewhere as well.
Yeah, I believe he beat Raider to the line one time. Photo finish on the front stretch, but we've been watching the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series presented by Racing Revolution. The All About Bugs 250 has concluded, and what a phenomenal race it was, Alex. I mean, I go back and watch this one in a heartbeat. This was an instant classic. Even though the lead got stretched out at the end there, it was just, I mean, 3 wide racing throughout the field. Hard to pass, but drivers weren't able typically to just drive away. Tire wear mattered, and it was just a really solid race throughout.
Yeah, it was honestly a ton of fun. There was some stuff I had never seen before, like consistent 3 wide at Bristol that didn't end in a complete disaster, at least not from that specifically. Honestly, just a real blast tonight. It was a fun race at Bristol, even with how tough it was to pass sometimes.
You're right, and if you thought that Bristol was fun to pass, Kansas next week. That racetrack, 3 viable grooves, 4 if you really want to run the seam. Phenomenal racetrack, and I'm very excited to go there next week, October 2nd, as the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series travels to Kansas for the first race in the round of 12 at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on V-Speed, as we bring you flag to flag coverage all season long. And if you enjoyed tonight's race, hit the like and subscribe button. I mean, we're here all year, and we've had a lot of great shows throughout the season. Go back and watch them if you haven't already, but make sure you're here for the next ones. You found the channel, you found the video. Why don't you stick around a while here on V-Speed. I got to thank everyone behind the scenes of V-Speed, Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, Bradley Cooper, of course, Alex Gagnon for putting up with me for another week. He's so happy there's only 6 weeks left, even though the rest of us are all quite sad that this season is coming to a close. But in the playoffs, it's going to be a fun one throughout. And for all you who are preparing for the storms tomorrow on the southeast, stay strong. We're thinking of you, and stay safe. We'll see you back here next week. And have a good night, everyone.
So Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.